And welcome back. You're listening to Simply Fred on Sine FM at 102.6 FM in Doncaster and around the world at sinefm.com. We have a treat for you. We have the Business Juice interview coming up now. Paul Kincell is an interim manager and is also responsible for some amazing training events run by the Chartered the Chartered Management Institute, even the Doncaster and Barnsley branch. And he's kindly agreed to meet up with me last week and talk to me about it. So part one coming up right now. Hello, Paul. Thank you for coming along and welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
Now, you've come along very kindly to talk about a couple of things. One is to talk about interim management, and the other, which we'll talk about towards the end of the interview, is to talk about your work with the Chartered Management Institute. So, interim management then. You've been an interim manager for a little while now, haven't you?
I have, yes, indeed, yes. Probably about 14 years, all in all.
Blimey.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I got into a little bit by accident, to be honest. I'd been working at a senior level at a variety of different companies in a variety of sectors, and I found myself searching for the new opportunity, and a friend of mine came along to me and said, I know you, Paul, I know what you can do, I know how effective you are, come and work for me for a few months. Fill a bit of a gap in, and I almost went on a casual basis with him. And to cut a long story short, that really then I loved delivering the project, and I felt that this was great, And I then started to look into the whys and wherefores of becoming of doing it on a full-time basis.
Right. And, So that was your first project 14 years ago.
Yeah, and that's right.
Did you go in there as a sole trader then, as it was your first?
Absolutely, yeah. Sole trader, registered as a sole trader, and did the first 2 or 3 as a sole trader, and then realised that I needed to be a limited company.
Okay, so talk us through the differences then, because I know that a lot of interim managers or would-be interim managers, it's one of the big questions that they ask. Which way do I go? What are the advantages and disadvantages of both? And obviously you've done both, and you've gone from being a sole trader to a limited company, and your limited company is PKMG Limited, isn't it?
That's correct.
So what was the driving force to actually get you to move from sole trader to limited company?
Yeah. It was fundamentally the needs of the market, the needs of my clients. It was very easy to be a sole trader. It was dead easy to register, and it was a very you just crack on with the job and don't need to worry about all the legalities of the becoming a limited company. So very easy to be a sole trader. But the downside of it is that as you move into it in more depth and become more established in the market, then the clients are all looking to work with and engage a limited company for legal reasons, for HMRC reasons. They need to be making a contract between their business and the provider interim company.
Yeah.
So I needed to become a limited company. So I did that, and to satisfy basically the needs of my clients.
Yes, and of course with the Agency Workers Directive having come in recently as well, I suppose it's even more important to be a limited company and to be a professional entity, isn't it?
My advice would be maybe start off, for a short period of time as a sole trader. There's nothing wrong with that. But very quickly, once you've got your sort of bit of a track record laid down, then look at becoming a legal entity, a limited company, and then crack on with the business, basically.
Okay, and obviously at that point then you're a director of a business as opposed to being a person that goes and does a job. So has it made, is there much difference in terms of how you do your tax and all of that kind of stuff? If people are thinking about it, is it much more complicated?
Yeah, I did struggle on myself without an accountant, but very quickly realised that, and I have trained in accountancy, but very quickly realised that I needed to get someone on board with me. So I work with an accountant who's a local guy, Gary Thickett. He's a great chap, and he really takes care of all that side of it, gives you advice, and you become very, very sort of reliant on them, and again, you're delivering the results because you know that those kind of things are being looked after.
So in terms of the contracts that you do then, what kind of work do you do, first of all, as an interim, personally?
Yeah. Right, well, I've always been a sales and marketing person, involved in the front end of businesses, growing business, developing business for clients, working with customers at the sharp end. I'm a bit of a hybrid because I've done a lot of work in my early career in the commercial side of organisations. So all the costing and order management and tender control, exporting is something that I've done. So it's given me a more rounded sort of experience as a salesperson, but yeah, it's all sales and marketing, helping businesses to effectively grow their sales, and sorting out any issues with their sales teams.
And that was part one of my interview with Paul Kincell. Part two coming up right after this. And that was Elton John with I'm Still Standing, a sentiment that a lot of business owners, I think, can identify with. We've had a rough couple of years with the economy, and, well, here's Paul Kincell's view on that.
The economic situation's been very difficult, obviously, of late, and the first step for most businesses has been to cut costs. And so I think some interims have struggled over the last couple of years because costs have been cut and no one wants to really fork out to pay for someone to come in to grow their sales. But I think we've wrung everything out that we can in terms of cost savings, and business are now saying what's the alternative? The alternative is obviously to grow their sales, make more profit, get more clients, sell more products. So I believe that the sales arena is one that's going to develop over the next 12 months in interim terms.
And how long do contracts tend to last for on average?
I've done 3-month contracts, quite a few 3-month ones recently. I've done longer ones. I've been up over 12 months as well. Probably 3 to 6 months, I would say. Yeah.
And what sort of average daily rates can interim managers expect to earn?
Yeah, I think they can. Some people have a bit of a sort of a ceiling where if you're below, say, £250, £300 a day, that's not really an interim in the interim sort of framework. But anything from that level, the top interims can earn £1,000 a day. But
wow.
You're talking at a chief executive level, captain of industry, really delivering results in a very difficult environment. So yeah, you're paid in terms of the tasks and your experience and the challenges that you're asked to deliver.
Yeah, so nice if you can get £1,000 a day for a year or more, but it comes with certain pressures as well, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
So thinking about the pressures then, what about the downsides? You know, you've mentioned there you have to work extremely hard. Obviously they can get rid of you at a moment's notice. Yeah. What about location as well, working away from home? Is that something that's an issue?
I've been very lucky recently to have found projects quite close to home. But you've got to be prepared to work away, definitely.
Yeah. And in any other downsides at all to working as an interim?
I mean, you are very much your own person. You've got to really have a real strength of purpose and a very strong sort of mental approach to it. There can be times when if you do have a gap in between assignments that you think, well, am I ever going to find the next one? But you've got to continually be positive about it and be constantly selling your services and selling yourself. Networking and making all the contacts that you need to do with your network to actually find that and seek that next opportunity. So there can be times when yes, the gap is longer than you might want, but you've got to never lose faith that you're going to get the next one. From a development point of view, you've got to also be be very passionate as I am about developing yourself as an individual. If I walk into my clients with a toolkit that's only got a hammer in it, I'm only going to deal with problems that look like a nail. So I've got to add as many tools as I possibly can. I'm a giant sponge. I'm always soaking up new ways to do things, listening to gurus, getting motivated by the motivational experts around the world. I'm always trying to listen to that and keep that positivity, but also continually developing my own skills.
Yeah.
And I think the more skills that I have, then the better I can serve my clients and overcome some of the problems that they throw at me.
Yeah.
And understand some of the psychology of the people that I'm working with as well.
Yeah, I bet that's quite interesting at times.
Very much so.
And I suppose the more assignments you can get as well, because if you have more tools in your toolkit, to stay with your analogy, then you can actually lend your services to more variety of assignments. And
Absolutely,
it keeps you at work.
Yeah. I mean, there's the business that I'm working in at the moment. They said that they hired me because I offered more skills over and above the selling and marketing skills that they were ostensibly looking for. The MD told me that I had a much more rounded skill set that covered other areas. I heard a great quotation a couple of years ago, and I love it. I'm always quoting it, and it says that if an oak tree had the mind of a human being, it would only grow to 12 feet tall. And that really just explains the sort of limitations that individuals put on themselves. They think, oh, I can't do that, I could never achieve this. They have this little voice in their head which says, you can't do that, oh, you tried that last time and it failed. What I'm trying to do in motivating myself and motivating others is to take away those constraints and help them to grow.
And that was part 2 of my interview with Paul Kincell, and we have a bit more music for you coming up right now.
You can walk my path, you can wear my shoes.
With that CD, but we'll go straight into part 3, the final part of Paul Kincell's interview.
The people side is something that really I'm passionate about, and getting the best out of people is a real skill.
Yeah, and one that no doubt you're very good at. I mean, I've known you for a while now, Paul, and had the pleasure of working with you as well, and that passion always comes through when you work, and it certainly comes through as we're talking. And that leads us quite nicely, really, into the Chartered Management Institute. And you talked about developing your skills, developing yourself, and you are branch president of the Doncaster and Barnsley Branch. So for people who don't know, what is the Chartered Management Institute?
The CMI is a national organisation. Its branches extend overseas. It's fundamentally an organisation that promotes the art and science of management and leadership. I've been involved with it for 25 years, and we became a chartered organisation about 4 years ago. And we do offer the status of Chartered Manager now. I've always been involved in the leadership of the local branch. We have it fluctuates, but probably around 1,000 members locally across
wow.
across the two towns. We put on a series of events throughout the season, and but we fundamentally there to help our members and provide some added value to them for their membership. Each and every event that we put on throughout the calendar, the season, is aimed at actually giving the members something for themselves individually to take away. So the theme for the current season is about transforming and sustaining performance. So anyone that does come along to our meetings will really get something out of it for themselves to use in their job.
I've certainly come along to some of your events as a guest, as you know, and I've found them absolutely fantastic. I always come out of there very invigorated and very motivated to put things into action that I've picked up, and there's always something, even if it's just 1 or 2 points, there's always something that I can put into practice. So
thanks for that, Fred. I didn't even have to pay you to say that.
No, absolutely. No money has changed hands whatsoever.
But that's what we try to do, and obviously thanks, Fred, for your glowing reference of that. So much appreciated. We are acknowledged as one of the best branches throughout the country because of the effort that we put into to put good events on locally, and I've always got my radar on for future speakers. This year we've changed the venue to the prison at Doncaster at Marshgate. They have a great facility there in the chapel, and so we've started having the events there. And we've got one coming up on January the 23rd. Yeah. Which the subject is transforming performance at an NHS trust. And one of our good friends is the chairman of North Notts of the Notts NHS Trust, Dean Fathers, and he's coming along to with his COE, Chief Operating Executive, get my words out, to talk about how they've transformed that trust, that NHS trust. So I'll extend an invitation to members, to listeners, if they want to come along and listen to that one. But
so that's it's a Monday, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
So that's on Monday the 23rd of January. And what time does it start and run till?
It's 6 o'clock, gathering at 6 o'clock, coffees, teas, networking, and for a kick-off at 6:30. But you need to get there a little bit earlier. You need to bring a photo ID with you to actually gain access to the prison. But if anyone is interested, then no doubt they can contact me via yourself, Fred, and your contact details.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody's interested, they can email me at fred@sinefm.com, and I can then forward your details on to Paul. So not a problem at all. So thank you very much for extending that invitation.
You're welcome.
Well, I think that sort of brings us to the end of the interview, Paul. Just a few final comments, really. Would you recommend interim management to people? Coming back to what we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. I think that it doesn't suit everybody. You've got to be resilient, you've got to be good at what you do, and you've got to have the tenacity to put up with some of the problems that I've talked about. But if you're someone who likes variety, likes a challenge, likes to really make a difference, then yes, absolutely. And again, if anyone does want any further details or assistance, then I'll be very happy to help anyone who may be interested in
thank you very much.
Getting involved.
Thank you for that. So again, if you want to email me, fred@sinefm.com, I will pass on your questions if there is anything you want to know more about. And obviously, if you do want to come along, listeners, then on Monday the 23rd of January, 6 o'clock at Marshgate Prison, bring a form of ID with you, and you can go along as a guest and find out about turning around the NHS Trust and see how Dean Fathers did it. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Paul.
You're very welcome. It's been really enjoyable, Fred. I hope you enjoyed speaking to me, and I hope the listeners got a few tips and techniques from me. It's been a pleasure.
I'm sure they did. It was a very informative interview, so thank you very much for that, Paul.
You're very welcome.